Tashera Simmons.
Tashera Simmons.
And hopefully our conversation will live up to the hype.
Okay, everyone, welcome. I'm so happy and blessed that you guys are here joining me another week of Freedom of Truth. Yay! I'm so corny, guys. So anyway, again, like I said, another week of Freedom of Truth, and I always say, oh, my guest is special. I just need to just keep saying it all the time. I have another special guest.
I'm extra
No, but
special.
this is extra special, though, seriously. I have my good friend, sister friend, a girlfriend who has inspired me so much. You probably don't even know. We've inspired each other over the years, and brought each other through the darkest times of our lives. And I am so blessed. I feel so blessed that I'm actually here to see her and to interview her in her prime in life, in this new chapter. So just so you guys know, before I get started, Debbie Lorenzo, which is the special guest, is the ex-wife of iconic Irv Gotti. And if you don't know Irv Gotti, Google him. He is definitely one of the masterminds of our time. He's so talented, and he's also a good friend of mine. But that's how I met Debbie. But me and her and our relationship took off to a whole nother level 20 years ago. She's an amazing person. I can't wait for you guys to hear her story. I'm just trying to make sure that I touch on everything. But without further ado, I am going to bring Debbie on. We have so much to talk about, but hey, Debbie.
Hey.
This is my show, but Debbie's getting ready to take on the platform because she has so much to talk about. Again, a very meaty story. And Debbie, hey.
Hey.
I'm trying to warm up, guys, because because he knows I could go on, honey. But now I feel so comfortable right now because I feel like I'm in the company of one of my sister friends. I'm definitely in the company of one of my sister friends, and she has a lot to inspire and tell you guys about her life. How do we want to start, Debbie? I mean, first we should give her a clap for even coming on the show. Well, how do you feel, Debbie? I mean,
I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of your journey. Yeah. You're a part of mine. I'm part of yours. So it's exciting for us to be able to support each other.
Yes.
You know, so when you said, I'm like, of course, like, there's no other option.
I know, right, like what? Exactly.
So it's exciting to see where we've come from. Mm-hmm. And then, like, it's like we're taking this journey together. We're kind of like on that same healing and just coming from that dark place to blossoming into this beautiful flower, this masterpiece, really. Yeah. So it's just exciting.
Well said.
Yes,
well said.
it's exciting.
Yeah, well said, Deb. Yo, oh guys, just get used to this. Me and her, when we get together, we're extra silly and we always laughing. We cannot help ourselves and I'm telling you, that was the funny part about us. Even in our darkest days, we would tell we would have the most darkest humor and just laugh about it.
Do you remember how I used to be so possessive over you? Like, she didn't call me back, and I used to be so upset with you.
Yo, but I used to get it.
Like, Deb,
I'd be like, Debbie, she'd be like, you want to talk to me? I'm like, yo, I'm going through it right now, Debbie. Like, yo, I'm telling you, but we literally, like, used to talk on the phone for hours and just say, because we went from being millionaires. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, first of all, I mean, you're going to hear a backstory, but we went from being millionaires to being in this place where we're like, how the hell did we get here? Mm-hmm. And it's nothing like having that friend, though, that you could truly trust and could understand.
Damn.
Because the level of success that our ex-husbands were on was so hard to be able to talk to anybody that would truly understand, that gives us good advice.
Good advice, yes.
That don't have us settling just for whatever, because there were girlfriends that I spoke to, or just strangers that would say, come on, you're his wife. Come on, like, you got all the money, you have the kids, you're his wife, just deal with it. And that was crazy to me. So
I used to get the same thing.
And she used to get the same thing. So yeah, so it's guys, we've come through a lot. But you know what, let me start off by asking, do you want to kind of touch on where you come from, I guess, or your childhood?
Queens.
Or yeah, you're from Queens, New York.
Mm-hmm.
So she's also Jamaican, which you guys will
Jamaican.
never know, right? It's so funny because when you see her, I remember because you look like you not mixed, but like a light-skinned African American woman. But then you're like, wait, hold up. Then you go with her family, and they got the accent, they talking stuff.
You like what they say?
What? And then that stuff will come out too when she around. So you like, wait, hold up. But Queens, New York is where Debbie's from. How many? Do you have any siblings?
Yep, I'm one of 4. So I'm the baby.
Oh, you're the baby in the family?
I'm the baby in the family.
How many boys?
2 boys, 2 girls.
Oh, 2 boys and 2 girls. See, that's something I don't think I knew. I only thought you had one brother. I don't think I met the other one.
Yeah, Barry and then Jim.
Oh, Barry and Jim. And I know your sister.
Yeah. So, yep, 2 boys, 2 girls. I was the baby. And married young. Married young and had kids young, and just kind of went into that whole mother and wife and that whole role. So, you know, when you're young, you just kind of, you don't really have the whole perception like you do now, where you know about standards and you know how to set boundaries. You don't know that. You just kind of go with the flow. And so, you know, got married, and Irv got in the industry, and once he got in the industry, that's when things really started to change. And,
how long were you together before he, I guess, really became successful? Because he was in it. I know Irv was in the industry for a long time. He was Jay-Z's DJ at a very young age, and went through that.
He was a DJ when I was pregnant with Sonny. I remember him DJing, because I remember dropping him to the airport, picking him up, and him and Jay and Dame and all of them, even picking Dame and them up from Brooklyn and dropping them to the airport. What'd you ask me?
I was asking, I said how long before you guys were together before he became really successful and famous?
Successful, like maybe 5-6 years.
Okay, so you,
because that's when he started the process. Like he always had a passion for like music, because he was DJing, and then he produced Mike Geronimo. Yeah. And then that was like his big, it's real. Like that was his big thing. And he used to always go up to so I would say like 5 years.
Okay, before. So she had a good 5 years of normalcy in a relationship.
Somewhat. Because it was still a little,
Still a little rocky.
Yeah. So at times, but then, you know, you get married and you think, oh, everything changes. You would never get married and cheat. You would never get married and do this.
Yeah, like,
and that was the awakening.
Get better now when you get married. Like.
The awakening came like marriage don't mean shit. Like marriage don't stop none of that. I know. But I didn't know that, because you know when you're young you think
and it's funny that you say that, because I'm going on the point when you said you know when you're young you thought that being a wife and a mother you don't really know. You're thinking at the time, I'm sure, that this is your calling. You know what I'm saying? And because I know that we're taking the audience on a journey with you. So the beginning of your journey, you know, you became a wife to someone, you know, that became very successful. You said, and you were content being a wife and being a mother, right? Did you ever think? Well,
that was all I wanted to do. Like growing up. You know, kids are like, oh, I want to be a doctor. All I wanted to do was be a mother, a wife, and have the big house. And I used to envision it. Like I used to play dress up. I used to play house by myself in the mirror. And I used to put towels in my shirt, like as if I was pregnant. And I would act like I would see a husband coming in, and I would greet him. And like I was so visual as a kid. And so that was all I wanted. Like that was all my vision for my life, was to be a wife and a mom.
And on that note, and that's why I said me and your stories are so relatable, because that was me too. And I think it's because I came from such a broken home that I felt like that was my purpose to, I mean, to have to create a good home and a husband, and to make it perfect, because then I would have more control. So I get that, but how crazy it is that you didn't know that was just a season.
That was just a season. Yep.
That was just a season. I feel like that was the beginning of your foundation to what's to come.
Yes.
Right?
I definitely believe that. Like, it's like I needed to go through that, because sometimes I even think like, okay, when I got divorced, was it the right thing? And then I'm like, nope, like that was the right thing, because God is not going to put you in a situation to be tortured, to have to go through all of that, you know, and to stay in something like that where you're not being respected, where you're being cheated on, you know, all of those things. And so I don't even know what the hell the point.
No, but I know where you're going is you were able to realize and identify that this is not healthy. This is not something that is for, like, you know, that God would have wanted for me. And that kind of, but at the same time, it cracked up all your dreams because as a little girl, like you said, you were thinking that, I mean, this is what you wanted.
This is what I wanted so much. I was like, this is it.
Exactly.
This is it. It's like, this is my life. I didn't even think of a profession. I didn't have a profession. Like, that was it.
See, so the point I'm making with you is that for the women and men that's listening, because this could go both ways, that was just a season to get you ready and prepare you to what's to come.
What's to come, yes.
And you didn't stay there, because a lot of times what women and men do is when they have that dream so embedded in them, they continue to try to make it work until they have nothing left. And even though I would say that you probably did go that all the way till you had nothing left, but you pulled yourself out of that dark place.
And just praying, like praying. Like,
and that was my next question.
Tell you,
how did you do that?
Praying. Do it? And I my grandmother, she lived with us. She was a prayer. When I tell you a prayer warrior, she used to have like a big oak tag paper, and she would have people's pictures on it, people's names, and she would just lay her hands and pray on it. She would be the one at church that they were called to come and pray for the sick. So she was a prayer warrior. So I know her prayer, her prayers are covering me, and you know, and just like taking me to where I am now, and it was embedded in me. So I know how to pray, you know,
and just, all those tools that's
and
been
all
embedded
those tools,
in you just started coming up once you started to find yourself.
Yes, yep.
Like, you know what I mean? And start realizing your worth. Even though you were still down, you started to see, what is my worth? Like, God, you have to have more for me. And guys, it was not easy for Miss Debbie. When I tell you,
no,
it took years.
It took years.
Like you said, prayer,
and just when you get tired of just the when you just get tired of being tired, like, and really no one can tell you when it's time to leave. Like, you just know you get tired of being tired, and that was me. I was just like, I can't do this. And then that's what made me go back to school, because I've always had a desire to go back to school. And so going through the divorce, I was like, I gotta do something for myself, so I'm not dependent on anyone. I have something for myself.
Okay, and I want to ask you too, and let's stay on that note that you, like you said, which is very important, but how did it feel going through the divorce? Like, was it something that was hard for you to do?
It was.
Because it was like canceling the most important contract that you ever
had.
In your life.
And something I dreamed about. Yeah.
Exactly, because she has three children, guys, so just so you know. So, you know, she had to really consider all of that. And it was hard. It was hard.
It was hard. I struggled with, who am I going to be? I struggled with my identity. Like, who am I going to be if I'm not his wife? Because that's what everyone knew me as, his wife. So I'm not Irv Gotti's wife. I'm just Debbie. Am I okay with that? I wasn't okay with that. So I struggled a long time. I went back and forth, like I'm not enough just being Debbie. Like, I don't have that title, and people are not going to associate me. I'm not going to mean anything anymore. And then struggled with, can I still live the same lifestyle? Will I still live the same lifestyle if I leave? Like, can I still live a good life? And it was a struggle, but at the end I was like, fuck that.
That's right,
I was like,
that's
fuck
right.
that. My peace of mind, like, I'm gonna be good.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna be
You
good
left it all
either
to
way. Yep, I'm gonna be good. And Debbie, you're good on your own. You're good on your own. Like, you don't have to have, oh, you're so and so's wife to be whole
That's
or
not
to
who makes
feel.
you.
Yeah, I was like, I'm good.
So would you agree that you lost your identity in that part of your
In that part,
your
yeah.
life?
Mm-hmm.
Then, and you realized that on your journey, and when you got your divorce, these are the things that you were struggling with, and you finally came to the conclusion, like, I'm not doing this no more. I don't care what it's gonna take. I know you got me, God. I'm Debbie Lorenzo, and I'm going to keep on moving on and be the strong force. But then you have to walk on that new chapter.
And you gotta, you gotta walk on that, and you just, and it's not easy because you flip flop back and forth. You go back and forth because it's not an easy journey when you've been with someone who's taking care of you, and your whole identity is in them, and so now you're going off on your own. So many people don't do that. You get so caught up in. And I've had people tell me, "Oh, just stay. Like, why don't you just stay? Like, let him do his thing. You do your thing." And I'm like, no. Like, I just couldn't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I cannot be. I can't live this double life. I just can't do it. And I was like, it's not for me.
And just so you know, because I know, I mean, even for me, I know this is not an easy area. But it's something worth talking about because it is a part of your journey. So I'm so happy that you're being open and honest, that you're taking us on this journey, the audience, because a lot of women and men struggle with this, and they stay just because of a lot of things that you just talked about that you beat and you walked out of. So that's so courageous, Debbie. That's so courageous. And I could definitely, 100% relate because we both dealt with that. The same stuff. And that's really big and courageous.
And you dealing with two men who weren't mediocre.
Nope.
They're not mediocre.
You're walking outside and everybody knows what's going on. Everybody, your whole private life is public. A lot of people can't even deal with this amongst their family and friends, but you're dealing with this amongst family and friends in the world. So it wasn't an easy decision for you to make. I mean, not when I say decision, I think you made the decision. But now you had to walk in the decision.
I had to walk in the decision, yep.
That's the hard part. So now she's made this decision. She actually followed through with it. But now what?
Now what?
Now you have to start from scratch.
Yes.
Who is Debbie? And how were you able to do that?
Just
a lot of crying.
A lot of crying, a lot of praying. Yeah, a lot of crying, a lot of praying. And just went back to school because that was another thing when I was married, because I was so lost in all of it. Like, Irv was the focus, like I was kind of just there, and so I didn't think I was smart. I didn't think I had what it took. And when I went back to school, and I remember sitting in the community college, and I remember I got my associate's degree, and I was like, Dad, like, you smart, like, you could do this. And then I went and got my bachelor's, and I went and got my master's. I was like, I'm not going to stop. And I didn't tell anyone. The kids knew because I would be up late. I would be at school. And graduation, like, it was like the best feeling ever to be at graduation, and my kids are right there with me. My aunt was there. Irv was there. I was like, yeah, come on and watch me graduate now.
Right.
watch me as I get my degree.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is guys, this wasn't an overnight. Like, no. This was something, and that I literally got the opportunity to watch, and that's where you inspired me, because we both struggle with that. Because it's something about when you lose your identity, and you start rebuilding yourself, you do feel stupid because you don't know who you are. So it's like, what the hell can I even talk to anybody about?
Yes.
Like, what can I even teach myself? I don't know anything.
I don't know anything.
Was with this man.
With this man, yeah.
So, like, that alone is amazing and so hard.
It is.
But you did it, though, Debbie. Like,
it is.
Dang.
Prayer, I'm telling you, just
Yo.
prayer.
Yo,
Prayer.
That's just amazing.
Prayer and just being determined to win. Like, I was like, I'm determined to make something of myself. I'm determined to be a success and to not have to depend on someone else. Because, you know, then you have to go to someone else to take care. Like, I'm not doing that.
Nope.
You know, so.
And what is the time span? Like, how many years did it take for you to get to that place and then graduate? Like,
What do you mean? When I started school?
Yeah, when you started.
I would say about 6 years.
About 6 years?
Because I got my associates, then my bachelor's, so like like 6 years.
Like 6 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just kept going back to back, and I'm so happy that I was able to do it. You know, I did it when the kids were in school, and then I would go to school.
Hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. So, is there anything that you feel like you didn't do, or anything that you would change and do differently in that journey, in that season in your life, or you feel like?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to say on camera, but you already know. You already know.
I do. I'm sure.
No, you
It
know.
have to do with a man or something?
No.
Oh, okay. Who? Oh, man.
Remember all that when you talked about? So I don't want to say that, but you already know.
Oh,
that's
sorry,
what
guys.
that's what I would do different.
Yo, I was thinking about it on the way down. I was like,
nah, inside.
Yeah, it's a little inside. It's a little inside. That's the only, but you know
that's
what?
the only thing. But you know what? When I think about it, I'm like, Deb, like that wasn't your journey. Like
no, it wasn't.
That wasn't your journey. That wasn't like. And when I think about it too, I'm like, you blessed in so many other ways.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
You blessed in so many other ways. So don't dwell on that what you could have done or this.
Yeah.
You're blessed in so many other ways. So you already know what.
Yeah. And you know what? And on that note, I can't disclose that only because of legal situations. But when you guys go through a divorce, just a little bit of advice, make sure that you totally do your research. Especially when it comes to music artists and people who have things. Okay, guys? That's all I have to say.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Just to protect yourself. Just, because at the end of the day, we don't want our years that we put in to go in vain. We deserve. That's just facts. That's just facts. You know what I'm saying? You already know.
Seriously.
Yeah, you already know. But we all have different journeys, and God has definitely equipped Debbie on so many levels. And her attitude is just so amazing. Her just staying positive, like you. I mean, and that's one thing I could definitely say. You have kept such a positive attitude. It's so important to be positive, even though Debbie had some doubts. I feel like, and that's nothing but the enemy. That's how he comes in. Yes. But you always you never really expressed it like that. You never gave him that power. I have to say, you were never negative, Nancy. Like, you would have these little doubts, but as quick as they would come in, as quick as you would just resolve it and be like you said, I'm dumb. Okay, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna prove this to myself. Like, you never dwelled and sat on what you couldn't do. You always said, no, I'm going to do. And this is what the product of I'm going to do has birthed. Yeah. Like, I've literally seen my girlfriend go from the most craziest place to the most amazing place. Crazy. I mean, crazy is an understatement, y'all. Seriously. But this is true testament that, we can do anything if we stay positive and we believe in ourselves. And surrounding yourself with the right people. That's very important. Yeah. Very, very important. It's everything. Because a lot of times, too, people, when they're insecure about themselves or their gifts or they tend to be around people who feed that. So when you're around people who feed your insecurity, you're going to stay right there. Yep. And people will stay around people like that because they're insecure, so they feel comfortable being with their peers. Yep.
And I used to, and I know that, like I know that, and you got to change your circle, you got to change your friends, family, if and not that you have to disown but if you have a family member that's, move away from them.
Yep.
Move away from them. Friends, I don't care. Like, and people hold on to friends because, oh, we grew up, childhood friends. What does childhood friend mean if they're not adding value to your life? Childhood
Amen.
friends mean nothing.
Amen.
Like,
Amen.
so you got to cut those, trim the fat.
Trim
You got to trim the
down
fat. You got
to
to trim
what
the
matters.
fat. Yep, to what matters. And I think that's important. And I'm so big with that. Like, I have a small circle of friends. Like, I don't really have an entourage. So that I've already been like that anyway. So
yeah, me too. Like
I've already been,
Yeah, you have to.
I'm like,
I hope you guys are really listening, because this is raw, amazing advice. Surround yourself with positive people.
And when you and I pray for wisdom. I always pray for wisdom and discernment, because people will show you who they are, and you got to believe, like that. It's like this cliche, but it's so real. And I know I'm guilty of it. Like, I see something and I just keep going. And now I'm learning. God has shown me just through experiences. Trust your gut. When He's showing you something, trust that. I don't care what the person look like. I don't care what you get. Trust that.
Yeah.
He's protecting you.
Yep.
He's protecting you.
So you would say that you're definitely learning. Not learning, you have learned.
I have learned, and I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Like, because as long as we're alive and as long as we're open, we're going to continue to learn. We're going to continue to have experiences, you know?
And that's what, on that note, I forgot what I was about to say, girl. Yo, it's just so much. It's so much here. I was going to say, because I've seen Debbie's spiritual life blossom so amazingly, too. Like, she's always have, like she said, I mean, her grandma, everybody. So she's a prayer warrior already. You are yourself.
Yeah.
Because me and this woman have prayed together.
Yes.
And I've seen, like, you stand up and pray for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Or pray, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it won't probably be the most amazing prayer that everybody think, but it was genuine.
It's a genuine,
It came from your heart. Just like, just saying, your Tashera, in the name of Jesus, this ain't going to happen. That's a prayer to me.
That's a prayer, yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's from the heart and you mean it. I want to talk about how, because I've seen you try everything. I remember me and you used to sit on the phone. Once we found our identity, then we were just like, but now, like, what do we want to do? Because, guys, y'all don't understand. It's a level. When you've lost yourself in a relationship, and that could be any relationship. It doesn't even have to be marriage. It could be whenever you're with such a force that is so, I don't know how to explain it, but
it's big. It's a big force. Yes.
It's like you shrink in it.
Yes.
And it's like, so you found yourself. You know, I've watched, there's levels to getting to that place. So I've watched you get to you know, fight all those demons and them different levels. And then you finally birthed Debbie. But then it's like, how do we find what we want to do? Like, so I'm just trying to figure out my real question is, like, after trying everything, how did you find your niche in what you're doing? Because, guys, when you see the visual, I'm wearing Debbie's beautiful green Francis Gray hat. I remember her, I mean, I remember her going to sewing school. That's funny how, because you tried that, but then you did your catering, not catering, but your
event planning. Yep, event planning. Yep. Stationery.
The stationery. I mean, and everything that she's done.
It was all creative.
It was very creative. And I watched it, like, and she put her passion in everything because she really, and that's what I've learned from you. You have to, whatever you put your mind to, you have to give it your all in order to know if this is really what you want to do. And if you don't feel it, I'm talking for you now, girl.
But I think too, though. I think too, because like when I was doing the event planning, like I loved it, but I wasn't in a good place with myself. So I was so insecure. Because you know, with that, you have to sell yourself. You have to sell yourself. You have to network. You have to talk. I was so insecure. I would be afraid to talk to people, and so that wasn't gonna work. And so even though I loved it, I just didn't. I wasn't in a good place with myself, so it wasn't going to work.
Okay.
And then I kind of just let that go. I let the stationery go, and then that's when I went back to school.
Okay.
And then I was after I graduated, I was working counseling seniors for like about 2 years. So I was counseling seniors.
Oh, nice.
And then it just got to a place where I was like, I can't, like, this is not for me. It was a 9 to 5. I was punching the clock, going into an office with white walls. It was very sterile. And it's like I created like this oasis around me of beautiful things. I would have beautiful pictures and all these, I had like a vision board around the office just to kind of get me inspired. And
But you knew it wasn't for you.
I knew it wasn't for me. I'm not a 9 to 5. I'm not a routine person. I'm kind of like, I like change. I'm creative. I like change. So anything that's mundane or routine is not going to work for me. And now I was like, this is not it. So I just kind of like figured like, okay, what is it that I like? What is it that I want to do? And I said, you know what? I love wearing hats. I was like, let me look up hats. So I looked up hats, and I didn't even know it was called millinery at the time. I didn't know what millinery was. And I saw FIT had a millinery program. And I was like, oh, hat making. Registered, and maybe about 3 classes in, I was like, this is it.
Wow.
I was like, this is what I'm going to do.
Wow. And
then I just started doing research and finding manufacturers, material, talking to people, and just kind of grew from there.
Was the classes expensive or?
Classes were like $500.
Okay.
Like $500. And it was every night 6 to 10 every week. So I would go every
6
week.
to 10. That's
6
not even
to 10.
bad.
Mm-hmm.
And you loved it. You felt the passion and the love.
I loved it. Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh! I would come home and make hats on my stove using steam and my oven, and I just loved it. Just loved it from there.
You found the love in it, and then
And I get to work with people. So even though I got a degree in social work and I'm not counseling, I'm using my degree in another way because I'm working with people, helping them to find a hat, and I find joy in that.
Wow.
When I could help someone to find that perfect hat for them, like I find joy in just that process.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting you know that it's your calling at the same time because you feel it when you're selling the hat and you see the love that's coming out of their eyes. You're like, so I'm still doing what I went to school for, but now I'm actually making it.
Yes.
And I'm giving something to them of me.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like they'll always have the Francis Gray Debbie hat that makes them happy.
And the thing too is, it's not about the money for me. Like, it's not about the money. Like, the money will come, and of course I want to make money from doing it, and I want to branch out and be internet, all of that. But it's more the experience, and I'm like, everything else comes after. Everything else comes. It'll come.
Yeah.
It'll come.
You know what? That's deep. To me, that's so deep because that's when you really know when you love something.
Yes.
When it's like, that's the least thing from your mind is making money from it. Like, you really, in your heart, love making hats to make someone else happy.
And like, I have a hard time charging people. Like, when it's come to charge, like, I don't even want to deal with money.
Like,
I don't want to deal with none of that. All I want to do is just design a hat. That's it. I don't want to do none of that. And but I'm like, I'm not chasing that. It'll come.
Yeah.
And I love the whole experience. The experience is like.
Because what experience do you get? Like, when you mean like just seeing people looking at your hats, that when you say you love the experience?
So like just from the time that you have, like, so when I do my events and you have women that come and you may have a woman that says, you know what, I don't really like hat. I've never really looked good in hats. So it's like, well, let's play. Let's play and let's see what styles. And I'll probably start them off with, because if you've never worn a hat, you don't want something big. So you may start off with like maybe a cap or something with a smaller brim. you know,
yep, to get them started.
yeah, to get them started, just to get you familiar with wearing something on your head. Simple, you know, and then you just kind of go from there.
And I remember you telling me a woman with cancer,
Yes.
you made a hat for her, or she came in and she loved one of the hats.
She came in, loved one of the hats, so just showing her, oh, she got a fedora, so I put like a scarf under, like wrapped her head with a scarf and then put the hat on. So I was saying, you know, it's cold out, because she was like, you know, I'm going to start to lose my hair. So you could just kind of showing her different ways of wearing it once she loses her hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So
that alone is like giving somebody something.
yeah. So like I loved that, like, because she walked away with the hat and she was so happy because she loved it. Yeah.
Wow. That's and look.
I loved it.
Who would ever think? Like, you know what I'm saying? In them dark days that you would find yourself in doing something like this. And so you're giving back, basically.
Giving back, yeah. At
the same time.
Yeah.
And you've gotten all your credentials together.
Yeah.
And you know you're smart, you got it together.
Yeah.
And now you have a product that is yours. That Debbie literally makes her own hats. She's in her, just so you guys that don't have any visual, we are in her space, her studio, her office space, where she has the drawing board, all the different threads and trimmings. You'll know better all the stuff. Like, I'm trying to freestyle right now, y'all. She got a hammer, so she can put it in New York. I'm like, wait. Hold on. She knocking stuff around.
Sewing machine. So that's my work desk, and my desk right there.
Yep, she got the pinups with the hats everywhere.
And here's my vision board. Important to have a vision board.
Yes.
Important to have a vision. Get yourself a vision board. It's important, because when I didn't even start doing hats when I put that up.
Wow. Really?
The evolution of a masterpiece, founder, collaborator, visionary, all of that, boss lady. I wasn't even doing hats. Like that might have been in the beginning, and this was already up there. So I'm already starting to see speaking. When
I saw you speaking, Debbie
called me, and you know I don't like speaking. You know
at all.
Speaking
terrified.
Is like my Achilles heel. And so it's like I'm already starting to see the things on my vision board already starting to come to fruition. And it may not be exactly that, but I see pieces of it. Wow. So it's so important to have a vision board and to edit often, take away, put up, and you know.
And I have a vision board, but I need a nice big one like this. I love how she has her family. I love how she has
that's Frances Gray.
Yes, which we're going to actually, that's what I have to ask you, like, where did the name Frances Gray come from? But she has a mighty big check up there, too.
I have a big check for two checks, a book and
a
book, what is it, a book and a network, because I put a show on there.
That's dope.
To do a show, yeah.
So she's speaking her life into existence, guys. She has World Traveler up there.
And I'm already doing that, traveling.
Doing the work, yep, exactly. Standing ovation. I mean, this is interesting. Love.
Yeah.
I love it. Interpret traveling, lavish habits. Like, you gotta we gotta speak our life into existence, man. We really have to. I'm waiting for you to pop up with that, because you've been telling me about that for years.
I have, but then I'm like, now I'm getting the new one. Yeah?
Yes, Debbie. Please give me that call when you get it and show me a picture, because I want to see it. That's what I wanted to ask. I feel like the backstory too behind Frances Gray is so authentic and dope. Like, who is Frances Gray?
Frances Gray is my great grandmother, my maternal great grandmother. I was cleaning out my mom passed, and I was cleaning out her things, and I found this passport, and I was like, wow, the name the name, when I read the name Frances Gray, I was like, wow, that's such a beautiful name. And the way her handwriting was so nice, I was like, I got to use this for something. Wow. And so this was years before. I was like, I got to use it for something. And when I decided to do hats, I said, that's it, Frances Gray. Wow. And so I found a graphic designer who took I sent them that picture and I was like, I need you to take exactly her signature. Don't change it. Just maybe clean it up a bit, but exactly her signature. I need it to be exact.
Wow. And now look.
And
Francis Greater
and
life.
she was a seamstress. And she
Wow.
gave to and she would make clothes for like the community and stuff like that.
What?
So it's in the blood. It's in the blood. It's in the
And
blood.
Look.
Yeah.
This is really an amazing story, man.
Yeah.
You just never know. And I feel like now when you look back, because I feel like God always, we have that whisper, because that whisper is God, guys.
Yes.
That we hear deep down in our soul, even when we don't believe in ourselves. It's whispering and showing us signs, but when we don't know, and we're so in a dark place, we don't know how to activate it and believe it. But once we get into that place, we look back, we're like, God, you were always showing me.
You were always, yes.
You was always there.
Yes. Or when you look back and you see when I look back and all the things that I wanted to do, everything was creative. Everything was creative. It was all creative. Like that's just me, you know, it's like all creative.
Yo, what would you say to the young you?
What would I say to the young me? To the young me, I would say, you're smarter than you think. You're smarter than you think. Well, hold on. When you say young me, what do you mean? Like young me, as far as like what I went through or someone going through, like.
And that's what I'm trying to word it right. No, I just mean like, maybe I should say the Debbie 10 years ago.
What would I say to me
Debbie,
10 years ago?
You know what I mean? Because and if you want me to give an example, like for me, 10 years ago, I never would imagine that I would be right here today. Mm-hmm. Definitely not interviewing you, because we both were like, we don't know what the hell life is. Like it was over. We just felt like it was over. Bottom line, y'all, we just felt like it was over. Don't ever look at like everything's not glitz and glamour. We both live in beautiful houses, but at the end of the day, because there's women out there that's broken, living in beautiful houses, and you know everything looks good in the outside. But we were really in a dark place where that wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. We weren't happy with we had big houses, yes, of course, thank you, Jesus. But at the end of the day, we wanted more. We wanted to figure out a way how we can give back to the world. Like, this can't be it for us. Mm-hmm. So now, for that person who's in that dark place like we were, that want to give so much to life, but just don't even know how to take that next step. You know what I'm saying? What would you say?
I would say, like, just for me, like, I don't know that. See, when people are in dark places, and it depends on who it is, and it depends on where you are. It depends, because for me, 10 years ago, I had to fall back from people. I had to fall back from people who I saw didn't have my best interest, people who I saw, they just weren't good for my spirit, and I had to move away from them. So I would say to someone who's in that place, I mean, it's easy to say pray, because when you're in that place, you like pray. Like,
what?
Yeah, you like what? Pray. I would say you got to evaluate your life and see who's in it and who's adding value to your life. Because a lot of times when we're in these dark places, a lot of times those people are the ones that's keeping us in those dark places or keeping us from even progressing and moving forward. And I know for me, I had to do that. You already know people I had to cut away from because they were feeding the toxic, that toxic stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was going off of all of that toxicity, and I was like, gotta break away. Yeah. Gotta break away.
So, you know, because it's
surroundings.
Really your surroundings. Because I'm about to say, like, even though it's my show, but it's your time. So that's why I didn't want to say, answer that question. But yeah, I would definitely, to sum it all up, is get to know who you are. Get to know who you are. And it's okay. Like, it's funny because we talk about this too, about being able to be by yourself and not being in a relationship and people don't get that. People don't get that. They just feel like I gotta have someone. I've never been that person. I've never been the person where I'm like, I gotta have someone. I mean, I want it, but I don't have just
to
not
have
anyone.
Yeah, just not anyone, and I don't have to have that. Mm-hmm. And some people don't get like how certain people can be toxic to them, you know, or detrimental to their growth, you know, just by having the wrong,
having the wrong person. And it's like they look all good and they're saying what you want them to say, but they could be really sliding in and really killing.
Soul ties.
Soul ties.
Soul
we
ties.
just talked about that.
Soul ties are real.
Like, so real?
Real.
Real.
Soul ties are, it's girl. That's like a whole nother thing. But soul ties, when I tell you, I'm like, I knew about soul ties, but to the extent that I know about them now, I'm like, you got to protect your energy at all costs, because soul ties are so deep.
Yes.
It's so deep. And soul ties will keep you locked into a situation, because you know you can test people for diseases, but you can't test a person for their spirit. You can't test a person for demons.
Preach now, girl.
You can't.
Come on now, Debbie.
You can't. You cannot test them. You can't say, let me take you to the doctor and test you for that evil spirit that you got. You know,
hello.
Like you don't know
it's
until
true.
Guess what? You already linked in with them. Now that shit is a part of you.
Yep.
And now you wonder why you stuck, why you this, why it's a soul tie.
Yep.
It's a soul tie.
It's a soul tie.
I'm
And
like,
it's
get
real.
me behind me, Satan. you will not be soul tying my ass.
Holding me back.
Seriously. Hell
Me
to
where
the
you
no.
at. The hell's going on? Why I want to be yo? Real talk, y'all.
I'm telling you.
That could come in a form as a girlfriend, as a sister, as a
friends.
brother, as a friend. Like, I mean,
yes.
People don't realize it's, and that's why we were saying. That's why she's saying, keep your circle small. Surround yourself with the right energy, the right spirit.
Trust what you feel. Trust what you feel, because that's that Holy Spirit guiding you. Trust what you feel when you see something, or when you're around certain people. Trust that energy.
Yes.
Trust it.
Trust it.
And you know how God develops that discernment? It's little. It's little. Like you may get in the car, and it may be something where you got the spirit is saying you need to go back, and you ever forgot something, and you like, you know what, I don't need that, I'm gonna just go, and you didn't go get that, and you needed it. That's that spirit helping you to develop. So once you start trusting it, you'll start trusting everything he's showing you. And then so you won't be in those places that you shouldn't be, or be with someone that you shouldn't be with.
Trust your gut.
I'm telling you, girl, I'm already learning it, and that's the evolving. That's that evolution and learning, because, and I'm telling you, I already, when I tell you God is doing something in me and you, like
it's just so amazing. Like right now, like this is just the beginning.
I just can't even, like,
your chapter. Like it's just such a beginning. I mean, our chapter, but I'm just trying to make it about my girl Deb. But when I tell you, this is just the beginning, y'all. Like, I cannot wait. Even next year, because I don't even know where Freedom and Truth is gonna be, and I'm just like, and you know what? And it's because I believe it's going to go. Like we gotta speak life, just like Debbie is speaking life over her life. When I came in before we started this interview, Debbie said, "Yo, it's the year of the woman." And I'm like, yeah, hands down, like I've got this boost of energy, and I felt it all over you when you said it. Like, and to see you with so much joy, Debbie, I mean, so much passion, so much happiness, it makes me want to cry. Like, because God is real, and it's like, and it's glowing and showing all over us. And the confident women that we are today, guys, we weren't 10 years ago.
Nope.
And
it was a fight.
It was a fight.
It was a fight to get here. It wasn't easy, but you got to stay the path and just stay on it, and just learn along the way. Like, I've learned so much along the way. You already know.
So much along.
You already know. I fell, got back up, kept going, fell again, got back up.
Yes. You know, and you know what
been in the wrong relationship, got back up, was like, learned from that.
I'm telling you, I always say this saying, success is a staircase, not a, success is a staircase. A staircase, we're going to slip, we're going to fall, but what do we do when we slip on staircases? We get back up, and we keep going, and it's not an elevator. That's the part I miss. Success is a staircase, not an elevator. If whoever told you that they went from here to there overnight is just not. It's a lie. And there's a lot of
They're
people.
scammers.
Exactly.
We call those scammers.
Scammers, exactly. They're not telling y'all the truth.
Yeah, we call them scammers.
Yeah, they're scamming.
Yeah,
They're scamming
they got there
y'all.
overnight. They're scammers. Be careful.
Who are the most important people in your life right now?
Most important people, my family and my small circle of friends.
Yeah.
My family,
Definitely.
the kids, and just my small circle of friends.
How about Charlie? Charlie's a dog.
Charlie
y'all.
too. Charlie is like Instagram famous.
Yes, I
Like,
love Charlie.
Yeah.
She has an amazing dog. So Deb, how did you get your inspiration? Because you have so many. I feel like every single hat that you make have a different character to it. Even though I remember one time you put a hat on me, you said, I'm gonna call this a Tashera hat.
Yeah.
I see you on your Instagram, you say Angie hat. So her hat has so much character. Where did that come from?
And so there's like so many hat blocks in the studio. So you just inspiration, like I just play around with shapes and it depends on if I'm making a hat for someone. If they've sent me a picture like, oh, I want this, I'll play around with the hat blocks and come up with a design, and I'll send a picture. They're like, that's great. And I'll go. So like the trimming for me is the fun part, because that's where you get to really be creative and so I could be working on a hat for someone and I'll come up with another idea. And I'll say, you know what, I think this is gonna look better. And I'll send them a picture like, do you have this option? And a lot of times they go with my option. Like, oh, well, I like what you picked.
What you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're very, I mean, we already talked about
Yeah,
that, but you are very creative.
I just love it. Like, and it goes, when I tell you praying, like, and it may sound crazy, but like, I'm like, Holy Spirit, like, send those creative spirits to guide me. So like the other night I was working on a hat and the idea just came to me to put the band,
I love that. That's hot.
This is it. This is
I
it.
was looking at that.
So I'm sitting at the table and I'm playing around and I'm like, God, what am I going to do with this hat? Like the original style that I had, it wasn't working. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And it was like, just this idea came to just put these up top like that and just leave it hanging. So it's a fun beach hat.
Wow, I like
And
that. And it's sexy and classy though. Like, it's that little detail.
The little
made
detail.
It so sexy and classy.
Yeah. And so, you know, I love, like, I love everything. I love, like, the silk ties and
I love that little butterfly.
and the color
that little
and
detail.
just like the color blocking and the colorway and the material,
The material, yeah.
You know, when I first started, I was making hats that only I would wear. Oh, even
This
like,
one is so high. I love this one.
yeah, like love animal print. Animal print is always good. It's a classic piece.
I mean, it's just it's so, she has so many. I love, it's just the coloring, like you said, like the little detail, and they're all different sizes.
So even this hat, like this wasn't originally like this, and then I was working and I was like, oh, that patent leather trim would look so nice on it, and I added it and it looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
It looks
Yeah,
amazing. It
seriously,
just adds that little touch of shine, of something different to it.
And it does. It's that streak, that patent leather. It makes it pop.
Pop, yep.
And it's
just
simple,
little.
but-
It's
yeah,
simple.
It's just so small,
It's
but
simple.
so big.
Yeah.
And this orange, which is dope.
And this orange one.
This could be someone's everyday.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
how it's
the-
always different.
Yeah.
She's always creating, and I think that's what really pops about Frances Gray. It's just always a small detail that really makes it. And I love how the inside, she has the Frances Gray signature in all of them.
There goes the logo.
Yep, the logo.
Frances Gray.
Dope.
Homage
So
to the great Grams.
Yes, thank you, Grandma. Grandma, but that's just so amazing, though. Like how you just never know.
And then even like I went to Colombia and I brought back those pom poms, so I have to find something to use. I'll find something to use. Something will come to me to put on the hat to use those pom-poms.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
See, so you're always thinking how
Yeah.
to take it to the next level, right? And
Yeah.
just be creative. And I was gonna say, what you gonna do with them pom-poms?
I don't
Please
know.
let me
Like
know.
I'll buy stuff and then I'll have it like something that catches my eye and then I'll hold on to it and then something will come to me like these metal the metal bars. I had that and the idea just came, use the metal bars, and I'll put it on. I was like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah.
Let me use that.
And I feel like it's like a part of like the Holy Spirit when she's asking about bring those creative ideas.
Absolutely.
She sits on them now. She don't just let them go to waste. She just sees something. She's like, you know what? That's going to come in handy one day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's dope.
Yeah.
It's like you're thinking way ahead now.
Yeah. Yeah, I love, like, when I tell you I love it, like I just love it.
And I know I could tell too. And she's actually now starting to make bags, guys. So.
Yeah, well, I took my first class, but I eventually want to expand the line to accessories, but I want to, it's so funny, I was talking to my son, and I was like, Sonny, I want to do an accessories line. And he was like, Mom, he was like, this is what I think you should do. He was like, I think you should perfect hats first. And then
these are the kids.
Yeah, these are the kids. I was like,
okay.
That makes sense. He was like, you need to perfect hats, then you could introduce accessories. And I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Instead of being all over the place,
yeah.
you know, you perfect this thing and then you move on to something else.
That's true. And it's good. It's good. I forgot what I was about to say right now, but it's true though. It's like one thing at a time.
One thing at a time instead of doing too much, because a lot of times we think, oh, I gotta do. You feel like it's like time is against you. You ever feel like time is against you? You gotta do.
That's what I'm just thinking right now.
And it's like no, like
it's like take your time.
Take your time.
Let God do His work.
Yep.
You know, and bless the hat line and take it to the next level, and then, but that's to come, guys.
It's like crawl before you, crawl before you walk. Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this so far with
like
Frances
a year?
Gray? A year,
almost a year.
Wow, and she's actually had a few trunk shows
at Bloomingdale's. Yep, 4 successful trunk shows at Bloomingdale's.
At Bloomingdale's, yep. And a girlfriend of hers. That's another. It's like a person that was in her life since, like I'm gonna
since high school, since high school. And she knew I was doing hats, and she was like, I think your hats would be a great addition to the Bloomingdale's. She was like, let me bring it to the buyers, and the buyers. I remember talking to the buyers, so they set up an appointment for me to talk to the buyer, and I sent them a line sheet, and so a line sheet basically has all your hats, the description, has a pricing, all that stuff on it. So I sent the buyer They called me, and oh my God, I remember this like as if it was yesterday. The buyer called me, and she was like, what is the process? I was like, I would be doing customization. She was like, we've never done anything like that for hats, but we're going to give you a chance.
Wow.
I pulled over, and I was bawling.
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh! I was bawling, like, oh my God, like they're going to give me a freaking chance.
Wow.
And
opening doors that no man can.
Because they were like, they've never done a trunk show for hats where you're customizing a hat. It's usually you just buy and go. So now I'm customizing, you're ordering and taking, and I'm placing the order. So now you're making custom hats. They were like, we've never done anything like that, but we'll give it a chance. And I was
so
like,
beautiful. Just believing in herself and
oh my
pushing.
God, yep. And Sash believing in believing in me and believing in my hat, believing in the brand.
Wow. Because Debbie's been doing this out her house independently, just a dream, and look where it's going, like where she's taking it to now. Now she's doing trunk shows in Bloomingdale's. Who knows what she's going to be doing next year this time? Yeah. Who knows? Because every day is something different.
Every day
I'm sure
is something
with you.
different. Yeah.
So right now, I'm sitting in her office with all these different spring looks that she's created, and I'm sure she's always having orders that she's sending out. I have this amazing, like I said in the beginning, this green
boater.
Boater,
Yeah.
that's what you call this?
It's a boater,
that's
yeah.
hot to death. I never would have thought that this would look good on me, but when I walked in, she put it on me, and it does look dope. You guys will see the pictures on her and Instagram. This is a example of a true entrepreneur. How does it feel to, be an entrepreneur? Is it hard? Is it what's the good, I guess the good and the bads of it?
So being an entrepreneur, it's nice, it's rewarding because you're your own boss, but then it also has, I wouldn't say, I don't know that I would say the downsides, because it depends on you. It depends on your work ethic. It depends on your motivation. But my struggle as an entrepreneur is time management. Time management for me, and being organized, and because I just like to create, so I don't like the business side. I don't want to do anything business. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, you got to do it all. Like in the beginning, you got to do it all. You got to wear all the hats. And I don't like the business side. I don't like having to call and answer emails. I don't want to check on my website. I don't want to have to do any of that. I just want to go in and create. But so I have to find that balance. I have to find that balance and just time management. Time management. I find myself doing other things that taken away from the things that I should be doing. And then by the time I look, I'm like, oh my God, it's too late. Because and what I realize is that I really don't want to do it. So I'm procrastinating and doing other things that's meaningless. Because I don't want to do it. So it's like, oh, well, it's 4:00, place is closed anyway, tomorrow. And then,
Yep.
So
Trust me, it's real.
Yeah, it's real. Being an entrepreneur is rewarding, but you have to stay focused, you have to stay organized, and time management is key.
Yeah, time management is key, and I can say that from me being an entrepreneur. That's 100% on point. Time management and just being organized.
Yes.
You hit it on the nail because, like you said, it's like even though it's your baby, but at the end of the day, it's a lot, and it can become overwhelming.
It is.
The things that you're talking about, time management, you would rather have an intern do.
That's what I'm looking for now. Yeah.
So because it's like, so am I, because so I could relate. It's like, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other entrepreneurs. It's like, because you have to do everything because it's you. Sometimes you want to look for an intern that could actually, when they post your stuff, say the things that you want to. Like it could be something small, or the time. It's just like. Because right now, you're trying to create. So it's like, so when, guys, just in case you don't understand about when she says time management, it's like because the time that you want to use to think about creating stuff and what's the next step, you have to use that time to post and, you know what I'm saying, or just think about, I don't know, because that's what I deal with too. It's like the posting, the timing, what I want to say.
Yes.
Like, oh,
and is this the right time? And then I got to post something every day on my business page.
It's a small thing.
It's a small thing, but it's big. But it's big too, even for people to see, because you want them to be able to. You want the visibility on social media. Exactly. So it's knowing all that. But I'm like, I don't want to do none of that. I don't want to do any of that. I want someone who knows social media, who knows marketing, who has a little PR, who's creative, who can handle all of that. So that's what I'm looking for now is an intern, someone who can help me with that area, so I can just focus on the hats and stuff like that. I'm not ready to hire someone to handle my hats because I'm so like what's the word? Not micromanage, but like I am. Oh my God, what is the word? Huh? Meticulous, yes, and maybe possessive. I don't know. No, I would say meticulous, where I like things a certain way, and I know what I like. A perfectionist, I guess. Perfectionist to a certain extent. Meticulous.
This is your stuff. So
it's my stuff, so it's like.
And it was.
I can't imagine telling somebody, "Oh, can you finish these hats and mail them off?" I'm like, no, I would have to see everything. They probably have like a band, or like I would be all crazy. But yeah, I need someone to handle the business because that's not a strong suit for me. Yeah.
So do you feel well, it's only been a year, but I mean, I feel like you came so far in that year, but do you feel because of that it might be kind of holding it back a little, because it's like once I give my stuff to this manufacturer company, like this is my Francis Gray, my name on it. Like, you guys got to make sure, like, I can't be at 100 places at one time. So it's like, it's right now you're kind of like trying to figure out a system where, well, and I guess that comes with getting that intern that has to have the same heart and passion that you do, and that eye that you do, which I believe that's something that, I guess you're going to have to start praying for. So that way, because I know hands down that this needs to be a major production. And I know that that's what's coming. And that's just, I shouldn't say if that was a right word, saying holding back, but I just feel like it's just something more that I feel like it needs to go to the next level. It's time. But I feel like that's what's missing, I guess, right now. Is that true or false? Or?
I would say with the business, I would say the business, because, with marketing is so important. Marketing is so important to business. It's so important for you to have that visibility and for people to know who you are and what you're doing. So with your podcast, for people to know, okay, there's a podcast, for people to know, okay, there's a hat line, and so marketing is so important.
Big.
And so so now I'm like, all right, I need to hit these schools up and hit their career departments to see, put an ad out to find someone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the next step, because, and I was just really speaking out of my own experience, because it's like the same thing. And it's like I got freedom of truth. I know what I want to do with it, but to go to that next level, like a lot of stuff is inspirational, and so it's like I need that person that's going to be a side of me, so that way I can continue to create.
Yes.
And so it's like the same thing but different.
So
stuff.
You don't have to worry about
exactly
that stuff that you really don't want to worry about, because that's not your specialty.
No, it's not.
It's not your specialty. That business side is not my specialty. It's not something I love or enjoy doing.
At all.
I don't love it. Like, I like being able to talk to people. I like being able to create, or being at the fabric store, being at the trimming store. Like, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to sit at my desk and do marketing or send out it. Like, I don't want to have to do any of that.
See, so on that note, the whole entrepreneur side, guys, this what it is to be an entrepreneur, and it's something good that you could think about. I think it's good tips that it's a lot of levels of being an entrepreneur. It doesn't start, and
finding someone too to complement you.
Yep.
So where I'm weak, you got me in this area, because I'm weak in that business area. I'm weak in that marketing area, but you're strong in that area, and I'm creative, but you got me in this area. So we complement each other.
Yeah.
I think it's important to have people that complement you. You complement them. And you work well together. So that's another challenge too. Yeah. I mean, it can be a challenge. It doesn't have to be. Yeah,
it can be. I mean, and it is kind of, because, but it's a good challenge, because it only pushes you more to know yourself and know what you need to bring in to complement your company. So it's a good challenge, and being an entrepreneur is all about doing things yourself, and so it's all part of it, but it's such a rewarding feeling.
It's so rewarding, yes.
Because you don't gotta work for nobody. You're your own boss. Yeah. Being your own boss ain't no joke, but it's rewarding.
It's rewarding. Yeah, it's no joke. Like, don't get into it. You're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh, that's so great. No, it's not. It's a hustle. You're soliciting business. You're going out trying to get your product out there. Your hustle. It's a hustle. It's a hustle.
A good hustle.
It's a hustle. But if you love it, it's not really work. It's just like you just doing something you love.
Yeah. And like everything in life, it's a job. It's work. But it's for you.
It's for you.
And you learn in the midst of it. You really learn yourself, what you're capable of, how talented you are, and how strong you are too as a person.
And you know what I find for me, I don't know if you have the same, I find that it's hard for me to promote myself. Like when I'm around people, I'm so not good with promoting myself. Like, oh yeah, I was at an event and I had on this red fedora, and so this lady passed me. I was with my friend. She's a stylist, and the lady said, "Wow, she's like, that's a beautiful hat." And I said, "Thank you." And I kept walking. Like, perfect opportunity. Ding, ding, Deb. Like, tell her this is your hat. Our friend Pam said, Deb, she was like, are you kidding me? She said, go tell that lady that you're the designer and give her your business card. I'm so not good with the promoting of myself. And I'm banging on the bathroom stall. Hi, miss. I'm the designer. This is my hat. Here's my card. Call me.
Yo,
and so,
but it's so real. Like,
yeah.
And I think it's because you're such a humble person, too.
Yeah.
And I think of all I feel, just because I'm the same way, all the insecurities that I had to fight to get to this point. So it's like I can promote everybody else, but when it comes to myself, I just be like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, that is me. Like, yeah, oh, yeah, would you like a card? Like, it's like, and I bet you in a year from now, you're gonna be a beast because I'm starting to notice you're getting better with that now, right?
Yeah. Like, so now I carry my business cards and you know, if I get a compliment on a hat, I'm like, oh, I'm the hat designer, and I'll give my card. So now I'm more aware of it, opposed to saying, oh, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Guys, there's levels to this.
Yeah, there's levels, and you know,
and challenges,
challenges.
The smallest ones that you would never think that you would think that would be like, oh, really?
Oh,
I did this. Yeah. But no, like, oh, thank you.
And two, I would say what's also important is staying in your lane. Staying in your lane, running your own race, because there are other people out here doing what you're doing, and they may be more successful, and so you start to veer off looking at what they're doing, and you start to get discouraged, like, oh my God, am I gonna? Nope, you stay in your lane, run your race, do your thing, and what's for you is gonna come for you.
Yep.
What's for you is going to come for you, because what they're doing is not you. It's not for you.
Nope.
It's not for you. So I've also had to do that check, because at time when I first starting, that was like kind of like a discouragement for me. Like, oh my God, like I'm new. All these designers, they're already established. What am I? And God was like, nope. Like, what's for you is for you. Keep going. Like, keep going.
That's one. I think that's a lot of people's challenges, because they don't realize that we're all uniquely made with all these different gifts, and that's what makes us who we are. And looking at other people, that's their gift. That's what they've been anointed to do. You found your niche and your anointing, and that's in your hats. And no one can do these Francis Gray hats like you. Nobody could. And that's real. That's real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but a lot of people struggle with that. So when you get past that, which I see you have,
and the thing is, they want to emulate what that other person's doing. You can't do that. No. You gotta find your own niche. So for me, I'm like, all right, I gotta find my own niche, my own thing that makes Francis Gray so unique. So when you see a Francis Gray hat, you're like, oh, that's a Francis Gray hat.
Yep.
You know, and not this person's hat or that person's hat. And, you know, so you look at other people for inspiration, but you don't copy their stuff, you know.
Exactly.
So you may look at another podcast and you're like, okay, they doing it like this, but then you do your own thing.
Yep. Make it into your own.
You make it to your own thing. You run your race, not looking at them as, oh my God, but you look at them as inspiration.
Yeah, let them inspire you, but don't try to become
them. No, because they're not you. That's not your path.
Exactly.
You try to fit into someone else, it's not going to work.
At all.
It's not going to work.
And there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
So much of it. And people don't even realize it's all in them already. And they're blocking their blessings when they could just find
you just get discouraged. You get discouraged. Like,
exactly.
Like, do I have what it takes? Yeah, you do. You do. You just got to keep going.
You have everything. So, on that note, guys, I think we have had an amazing interview with Debbie. I think that this was an amazing interview. I think that Debbie gave a lot from her past to how she fought through to become the amazing woman that she is now. There is so much more to come. I have one question though for Debbie before we close, and I just want to know, how would you describe yourself in one word?
One word, I would say determined.
Determined. That's powerful. I want everyone to also, that's the way we're going to close, but how do we find you? How do everyone find you? I know you said you have a website, you have your Instagram, your Facebook.
My Instagram, frances.grey, frances.grey. My website is francesgrayny.com, and my personal Instagram is Debbie Lorenzo _.
If anybody has any suggestions or any ideas on some people that you want on the show or some topics, please feel free to email me at info@TasheraSimmons.com. So not the @ but that's where you could email me to info@TasheraSimmons.com for, just some ideas on some topics that you guys would like to see me discuss, because I'm here for the people. I started this show because I wanted to help people and inspire people from just normal, everyday people, because we're all people at the end of the day. We're all human beings struggling in this life, trying to get to where our true calling is to be as people, as human beings on this planet. So, thank you again for joining me at freedomoftruth.org and the Freedom of Truth podcast. Love you guys. See you next week.
Hey.